I cannot believe it's still 345 wheel horsepower. I'm excited to announce the new car for the channel, the 2008 Infiniti G37S, clean title, 6-speed manual transmission, and best of all, it is completely stock. This is an absolute gem of a car. Now, it's not perfect. I will talk about some of the issues that it does have, but for the price I picked this up for and what this car is, man, it is incredibly hard to find a unmolested Infiniti G37 in 2026. And for an 18-year-old car, this thing looks absolutely immaculate. I've already driven it for about 3 hours today, and I'm absolutely loving this thing. It's completely different than the Subaru STI that I currently own. And honestly, guys, I may end up changing my mind on the Subaru. Who knows? Maybe I'll become an Infiniti owner. Now, starting off with the front and the exterior, we have the stock OEM headlights, factory grille, and you guys can tell along the grille, there's a bit of, I guess, flaking going on here, but that's not a big issue. As far as the headlights go, they do look a little bit hazy. We can probably polish them up with a nice Amazon kit. The body lines are really, really nice on the G37. We have the factory, I believe, 19-inch wheels. We have some, I guess, aftermarket drilled rotors on both the front and the rear over there. And of course, it wouldn't be a G37S without the 4-piston front and 2-piston rear Brembos. Now, my favorite part about this car so far has to be the interior. I'm really impressed with the offerings of a 2008 interior. It's got navigation, it's got certain Bluetooth features, and most importantly, guys, it's a push to start. And look at the, I guess, quality of the leather still for an 18-year-old car. There is a few blemishes around, like some gashes here along the driver's side seats, and I think some fraying on the leg portion here of the passenger side seat. But other than that, man, it's really, really well taken care of, and I am honestly in love. Now, as we work our way around the car to the rear, we get to my favorite part of the Infiniti cars, regardless if it's a G37 or a G35s. I love the taillights of these things. They look super aggressive. You can tell there's some styling I guess options or history with the R35 GTR, especially in the aftermarket. I've seen people put halos on these. They look super sick. It's always been one of my favorite things about these cars, the huge aftermarket support, just like the Subarus. Now we get to the ugly portion of the car. On the passenger side, there's a lot more cosmetic defects. Like right here, there's some paint chipping along this edge that goes all the way here toward the door handle. And then as you follow it all the way down here. But that's pretty much the only main issue and gripe I have with the G37 that I picked up. Other than that, it's super clean, everything works, sunroof works, and it's in really good shape. And my favorite part of this car is that it's completely stock. This is the V6 VQ37, the VHR with VVEL, which if you don't know what VVEL stands for, I'm going to guess and remember it stands for Variation Valve Elevated Lift, something like that. I'm going to put it here on the screen for you guys, but it's completely stock airboxed. I do think it does have an aftermarket exhaust. It's a Stillen exhaust, which I'm not too familiar with the brand. You guys can let me know down below if that is a good brand. But most importantly, guys, we have a clean platform, or canvas rather, to start modifying this car. We're going to do minor bolt-ons, nothing crazy. I don't plan on boosting this car yet. That may be a future plan, but let me know down below in the comment section what the first mod should be. Of course, you already know we're going to be doing our preventative maintenance, but before we do that, you guys know what I'm going to have to do in this video. We're going to have to put this thing on the dyno, and we're going to baseline this car and see what it makes. Now I'm going to walk you guys through what it's like to actually put a car on the dyno, from taking the tire off to mounting the adapter and ultimately mating said adapter to our Dynapack here. And very soon here at Church Automotive Testing, we will also get a new third dyno, which is going to be our mainline Pro Hub dyno. So stay tuned for that. Very exciting stuff. Now removing the wheels is fairly straightforward. Once they're off, we grab the lug nuts, and we usually grab the wheel and make sure that they stay together, because as things get very busy here, we don't want to lose them. This is our adapter that allows us to put the car onto our Dynapack here. Now we have different variations of adapters as well as spacers for the larger vehicles that require them. This is a 5-lug adapter that we're going to be putting onto my G37. Some cars, like for example, the Ford Fiesta ST, which is a 4x108 lug pattern, I believe, requires the 4-lug adapter, but we're going to be putting our adapter in here. Now we're going to put our collet onto the wheel studs, And then we're gonna grab our appropriate sized, I guess, lug nut here, or lug nut-like thingamabob, because I can't think right now. And we're gonna put it on, and then usually requires a few taps. And then the key with these, or you wanna make sure that they're as hand tight as possible before we start messing about with the other ones. And then you kind of just go around. For the high horsepower stuff, we typically utilize all 5 lugs and collets here, but for the smaller power stuff, we usually utilize just 4 of them. And here goes our last collet for our adapter. Sometimes you gotta back up the other ones, and then that gives you enough play to slap in, yep, just like that, slap in the last one. So a bit of finessing required, but it's something you learn over time. I know I definitely did not get it. My first, I don't know, 50 times took a while. And then a quick check is for the 5th one, make sure there's an even spacing between the last stud, between the both sides of the adapter. And then good practice is to just zap them slightly all around first before you actually impact them on, and make sure they're perfectly seated. And then I'll go around and just zap them on real quick. And just like that, our adapter is now mounted. Now for the fun part, because the ground is a little unlevel here, we got to make sure we are at the right angle for our dyno to actually go into the hub here, hub adapter. Now the key for this is all about the angle. So you got to make sure you have a good entry angle, like so. So then it's all about positioning. You got to grab the handle here, you got to grab the back handle, and you kind of just got to manhandle it in. Now that we have the G37 mounted onto our hub dyno here, we have 2 more things we need to do. We need to install or put our wideband into our exhaust pipe, make sure we get a good accurate reading, just to make sure the car is safe, and to put our fans in front of the car to make sure we have proper airflow to simulate the road, to make sure the car is not going to heat soak, etc., etc. We have our fan set up. It's all good to go there. Now I'll walk you guys through and show you guys our wideband. So we have our air fuel ratio up here, and if it's showing 22.3, 22.4, that means the wideband is currently on. You can also verify that by going down here and looking at our Innovate Motorsports wideband. If you see the solid green light, that means it's currently on and working. And of course, we have our wideband there slightly hiding in the dark. It is in our tailpipe. We may need to adjust it slightly, but we know for a fact that it's in there and it's good to go. Now I'll walk you guys through the setup here on the actual computer, and we'll get in the car and see what it makes. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is make a new folder for us here on this computer, because I've never owned a 2-wheel drive car, so we need to make a new folder. So we're gonna hit F7. I'm gonna name it my name, Alberto 08 G37S. I think everything here looks good. We need to set up our diff ratio, and it's important because this is going to essentially should match what the RPM would be on the car, so that's a good way to verify it. So I'm going to look up the rear diff ratio, or try to figure that out for the G37, and I'll be right back. So I double checked with Ryan, everything here looks good. I did, with the help of Google, look up our rear diff ratio for the G37S with the limited slip diff, and it looks good to go. So again, I'm going to set everything up here. We usually uncheck these boxes, or else what's going to happen on the dyno graph is you're going to have cutoffs at the beginning and end. So we usually uncheck these. The vehicle weight we should fill out, wheel diameter we'll fill out, and then starting and ending RPMs. I know for this car, it's going to be 7,500, and then starting RPM we'll do 1,800. Everything else looks good. Okay, we hit OK, and then we go back to our folder, F8, make sure that's our active folder. We'll go to the home, we'll hit F3, start at 1,800. And we'll see what it makes. I cannot believe it's though. 345 wheel horsepower and 287 wheel torque, and the graphs look so good for pump gas too. There is little irregularities, and it's so smooth and linear. We're gonna do one more run for good measure, for repeatability, just to make sure it's not a fluke. And also, I just want to quickly say thank you, Ryan Miller, for helping me out, making sure I got rid of those weird loops initially. I'm not too familiar with this dyno specifically. I utilize the all-wheel drive dyno. All right, last run of the night. See what she makes. That is nice, man. 345 wheel horsepower and 290 feet torque, or foot torque, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Man, that is so freaking awesome. What a good day to end the night. And yeah, I'm super stoked about this car. So what are my initial impressions of the G37? Man, I am blown away. I cannot believe I made that much power. And again, you guys saw the engine bay. It is completely stock. The only thing I do have is a Stillen aftermarket catback exhaust. I am just, again, blown away by it. I am rethinking the Subaru platform altogether. We were gonna finish this video up in the shop, but it got loud. People are there working, so gotta also be respectful of their workspace as well. So we're out here, just finished driving around, and it just makes me fall in love with this car. I definitely am considering what to do with the Subaru after this. I'm not lying. I really want to spend time with this platform, learn all its ins and outs. Speaking of which, there are two issues that I don't know or don't think have ever been addressed on this car, which do plague the 2008 to I think 2013 G37s. Which are the paper gaskets in the oil galleries that need to be replaced. There is an aftermarket solution for that. And there is the, I think, concentric slave cylinder, which is a plastic piece that sits inside the transmission that I don't think feels like it's been addressed. No weird clutch issues or noises yet, but who knows as mileage continues and I continue to use the car. But overall, guys, I am blown away. I love this thing, and I'm very excited to bring you more tuning content and installs and maintenance. You know, the next thing we're going to be doing is doing fresh oil change, spark plugs, and just looking over this car and trying to learn all about it, as this is my first Nissan and Infiniti platform. So if you guys have any tips on maintenance or anything like that, let me know down below in the comments. Again, recommend your first mod. I may get a nicer exhaust, may switch exhaust, but intake is definitely on that list. So stay tuned for that video. And we're gonna start tuning this car with, we'll talk to Sean, but it's probably gonna be EcuTech. I know UpRev does support this car, but yeah, we'll see it. Until next time, guys, we'll see you on the next one. And if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to comment, and hype this video up for more content like this.